Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 34 of Verbal Graffiti with your host, Brian Glass, aka the B-Man, the People's Degenerate. I have a 10-pound dumbbell that I pumped 30 and 20 times today, sets, and look at that noodle arm. I'll be ready to put you in a headlock and hold you there by 4th of July. Probably not. Did I just show everybody my non-bicep? Forget that happened. I'll cut that out. I won't. I don't know how to do that. Where shall we begin this episode after that week display? Entertainment. Memorial Day last week, I rewatched Pulp Fiction, which I will admit was a movie I've always had a vendetta against because I've always been a Shawshank Redemption guy with Andy Dufresne. Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. And that Shawshank lost the best picture to Pulp, so I've always that's always angered me. But I rewatched Pulp. I enjoyed the film, especially the scenery in the 50s diner with the dancing scene. I enjoyed the cinematography of all that. I still don't understand what the point of the film was, but I'm not a smart guy, so that's understandable. My big takeaway from Pulp Fiction after rewatching it is I do remember when it first came out, everyone walked away from that movie going, Uma Thurman, hubba hubba, what a hottie, what a babe. I walked away from it last week thinking, no, not Uma Thurman. The Asian girl who dated Bruce Willis in the film, that's the hottie. Me not knowing the Asian's name, does that make me a bit of a racist? Yes, it does. But I am okay being a racist. I admit my racism. I do believe, as a white guy, once you're willing to admit that you're a racist, that you're flawed, all that weight is lifted off your shoulder, and it makes life much more enjoyable for you to live and for the other people in your life to live with you. But yeah, the Asian, that's the kind of babe I want, where I come home after killing a guy in a boxing ring, I take my shirt off, I'm all stinky, I'm going to take a shower, and then my babe goes, no, I like your stink. Get here and go down and give me oral. That's the kind of babe I want. And even if she forgets my watch back at our apartment, I'm okay with that. I hate wearing watches. Ooh, I forgot to put my ring on. But yeah, I don't like watches. We have phones. I don't understand why people still wear watches. That's entertainment number one. I do like the film, but it's still not as good as Shawshank, and Shawshank should have won. I'll go to my grave thinking that. Two, I've been rewatching How to Make It in America on Max or HBO or whatever it's called now. You probably never heard of it because it only had 2 seasons. Nobody knows what it is. I describe it as a more authentic Entourage. It's 2 guys, Lower East Side of Manhattan. They're trying to start a jean company called Crisp. I love the show so much that I bought one of the t-shirts they wore on the show. Like I had to go on eBay and find like a rare thing that someone, because they didn't sell those t-shirts. I had to go find someone who was a geek like me and loved the show. And the reason why I bring this up because the 2 guys who were in that show started a podcast called We Almost Made It that just came out right as I was rewatching it. It's like the universe came together like, yes, B-Man, we are with you. But the problem is the podcast is on like podcast 1. So I think they're just doing it for the money because a lot of the, like when they swear, it's beeped out. So I could tell it's not an independent podcast. So that's a bit of a bummer. But yeah, go watch How to Make It in America. Little behind the scenes. The intro to that show and also between segments, they show a lot of like photographs. That's how they go from scene to scene. And I stole that idea in Verbal Graffiti where like between segments where I'll do photos I've taken. That's where that idea came from. So thank you to the creators of How to Make It in America. Go check that out. All right, with all my entertainment of people who are much more successful in the business than I am, let's get into something I found on Reddit that piqued my interest. Comes from the subreddit Adulting. Don't know much about that. Am I wasting my hours? So I am a 32-year-old married guy. Good for you. My Monday through Friday routine is 9 to 6 because 8-hour workdays don't exist anymore. It's 9 hours minimum. I digress. 6:30 to 8 making tea, snacks for my wife. That's a long time to make tea. 8 to 10 dinner. 10 to 1 a.m. watching something on Netflix and then sleeping. Weekends fly by quickly without anything to do other than Netflix. We're child-free, I hate that term, and I often think that we're wasting our free time because we don't have a couple friends who also may be child-free. Again, I hate that term. I feel this weird sense of missing out on a social life where I see other couples hanging out with their couple friends. Am I really overthinking this, or am I missing out on anything? It's not like I don't love my wife or anything. That's a weird place to put or anything. It's just that, isn't it just weird that we have no friends? We are together throughout the week, throughout the day, minus office hours, and I don't even have any friends of my own who I can hang out with. She is an introvert too and content with our routine. It's boring. That made me fall asleep. The way your life is going is you're a consumer and not a producer. And if that doesn't change quickly, at some point in the future, maybe this upcoming holiday season or maybe 2035, your wife is going to leave your dimpled ass for another man because she can't respect you with the way you're living your life now. It's too comfortable. It's boring. I read it, and you're doing everything corporate America wants you to do. You're giving all your energy to your day job, and then at night you're watching a corporate entity, Netflix, what they want you to do, and then you're wasting your weekend, and it's just one week after another, they all blend together, except for those 2 shitty weeks you go on vacation to cheap all-inclusive resorts or some bum-ass cruise where you get mono from some other family. Kevin Hart once said something very profound, and Kevin Hart, you should know, has one of the biggest dicks in comedy. Big J Okerson said that once on his podcast. They started together in Philadelphia, and at some point, he told a story where they were in a hot tub, and Kevin was he was packing big time. So I guess that stereotype fits for Kevin Hart. Okay, back to what Kevin Hart had to say. He wasn't talking about his wiener. He said something in an interview, I think I saw on social media somewhere, where Kevin said he wants to live his life like it's a book, and every part of his life has to be a chapter. And he's doing everything he can to make each chapter interesting to the reader. And when I read your Reddit post here, it makes me fall asleep. There's nobody who's going to go into Barnes and Nobles and spend $19.99 on reading your life because there's nothing to read. It's non-existent. You're just consuming what other people are producing, and you're not making your life difficult at all. You're working and you're spending all your free time with your wife, which you think, wow, I'm spending all my free time with my wife. She must love this. And she will up to a point. But the problem is when you spend all your free time with your wife, she's not going to have any tingles in her uterus for you. Her uterus is not going to contract for you because she cannot respect you because you're not giving her anything to respect. Yeah, big deal. You bring home a paycheck every 2 weeks. So does she. So it's not gonna make her dizzy in the head. My advice is to right away cancel your Netflix subscription. The juice is not worth the squeeze. How much is Netflix now? Like $15, $17. Unless they're going to make a second season of Queen's Gambit, there's no reason to have Netflix anymore. Get rid of that. That way you save 3 hours Monday through Friday and probably another 10 hours on the weekend. So you got like 20 free hours right there. You're spending 6:30 to 8 p.m. making tea and snacks. Whoa, what are you? Are you working at like a soup kitchen? Like how long does it seriously? How long does it take to make tea? When I was living in New York City, this is a big way to conserve time. Is prep all your meals on a weekend. So make all your meals and drinks on Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning, and that way throughout the week you just have to reheat it. That way you save a couple hours and you could go out to pursue whatever passion you have. And that's what you need to do is fuck friends, finding other friends. I don't know why. Why is everyone obsessed with having more friends? Friends just bring more responsibility and more stress and more drama. The problem is you and your wife are going to find another couple to be friends with, but like, she's going to like the wife more than you like the husband, but then you're going to be stuck with that husband because your wife likes the other wife, or maybe like your wife starts fucking the other husband because you're not doing anything to make your wife aroused. So just fuck having friends. Your wife is your friend. You don't need any friends. What you need is something for you and your wife to work on the weekend. So fuck Netflix. So you have all this free time on the weekend. Pursue a project with your wife, whether that's homesteading, starting a garden, a side hustle, buying and selling shit on eBay, a second business, a smutty podcast. Figure something you could do with your wife that you can grow economically and professionally and monetarily and spiritually. That will bring you closer together. It will make her respect you more. It will make her suck your dick more. And that's the big key. Okay? At some point in your relationship, and I am a big believer in this, there is a point where you got to look at yourself in the mirror and be honest and go, is my dick worth getting sucked? Like, what am I doing that will make a babe want to swallow my cum? That is the question. That is the question of life. And in your situation right now, the answer is no. There's nothing you're doing that's going to make your wife go sucky, sucky, because you're just a boring corporate rat. That's all you are. And also, one more. I know I'm kind of rambling, but there's a lot going on in this head right here. You need to find a vice to do with your wife, because all you're doing right now is drinking tea and watching Netflix. The both of you are boring AF as fuck. So bring some cocaine to the table, literally. Bring a couple of lines, a bottle of tequila, some scratch off tickets, some keynote notes, the keynote pad. You need both of you need to get out of this boring 75-year-old couple, Golden Girls, retirement type shit. Do some lines, find a vice that you like together so that your life is interesting. So when you come into work on Monday and your coworkers are asking you, Zooming, hey, how was your weekend? You have something to talk about other than some serial killer show you binge watched on Netflix or Hulu or whatever bullshit streaming network that we give too much money to. Trust me, if you drink with your wife, if you snort some cocaine with your wife, it will bring the two of you closer together. Because you can commiserate the next morning with the hangover, but you'll have the story from the night before. It will also make your sex life better if you're able to get your dick up on cocaine. I don't know. I've never done cocaine, but I've also never been married. So everything I'm saying right now is complete. I'm just pulling it out of thin air, just from what I've observed from other couples who actually know how to be a couple. But your life is just boring. Cocaine, get rid of Netflix, start doing cocaine, start drinking, BDSM, and pursue the weekends are for pursuing a project to get you out of corporate America. And right now you're wasting those 48 hours watching Netflix and doing whatever BS shit you and your wife are doing on a weekend. So really Vice during the weekdays, weeknights, weekends, build some type of project that you and your wife can get out of corporate America and do stuff that will stimulate your wife. So sucky sucky till the day the two of you die. Let's go to some photos now. There is something from the prior segment that I want to reiterate because I really do believe it is vital to our happiness and well-being as humans, especially men. So men, we need to look inward once a year and ask ourselves the scary question: what makes me fuckable? And if you don't have an answer to that question right away, you need to change your life ASAP. For me, I'll be honest, not much. Muscles, clearly don't have any. Money, goose egg. All I have is stand up, and I'm not even having much success with that either. But I do have an odd sense of humor. I'm witty. I have just enough creativity to let babes let me pull their panties off maybe once every 2 years or so. It's kind of like an eclipse. I would like it to be more, but that is what it is. So if you don't have an answer to that question, do something. Find a hobby. Find a trade. Build something. A business. Muscle. Bank account. Do something. Start getting the ball rolling today. And the B-Man's rooting for you. You can do this. We can do this. Okay, next one. From the subreddit, Walt Disney World. Whoever peed in a bottle on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train last night. Thanks for making the entire line smell, and thanks for making those poor CMs clean it up. You're garbage. Well, thanks for the directness there. I just, full disclosure, I believe I am the president of the anti-Disney World Club. I would rather do a stint in North Korea than waste 5 of my PTO days at Disney making awkward eye contact with Pocahontas. When I read this one, the answer is so clear. Should you have had to smell pee? Probably not. But it's kind of your fault also because if you're going to go to Disney World and you don't want to smell the piss of a child who's in the middle of a sugar coma, don't be cheap. Buy the fast pass. Going to Disney World or any amusement park for that matter without buying or spending extra $100 to skip the line is malpractice. Peter Pan should cuff you and bring you to prison right now, and you should have to do a 48 hours in the watering hole or whatever the fuck they call that, the drunk cell or whatever that is. Just the mere thought of Disney makes my pores just ooze like it's a boil or a pimple that's swelled up. The type of person who willingly goes to Disney, especially in the summer when it's hot and humid and all the babes have the swamp crotch, it's a different breed of person. And yes, I have contempt for all of that breed. Anybody who goes to Disney on their own volition, I don't know what volition, is that the word? Their own whatever. So any person who willingly goes to Disney, especially if they don't have children, their logic is worse than the leadership of the Third Reich. And yes, I do believe all Disney people should have to have some type of Nuremberg type trial, and if convicted, should be deported and sent to a hard labor camp somewhere in the world I've never heard of. And I want such hard labor where they're not just like making the license plates like the normal prisoners do. I want them having to dig holes to get the copper or the uranium or whatever it is that makes the batteries for our iPhones in those tunnels or those big caves. Pain. That's what I want Disney people to endure. Because if you're willing to spend a week in Disney in July, you love pain. So that's the type of punishment I think you might actually enjoy, you sick freak. I just know me there's only so many fanny packs and 400-pound fatties riding around in a scooter I can take seeing in one day before I'd have to drink myself into a coma. And apparently there are a lot of people who enjoy seeing that, and they get giddy for it. And I just, our minds, like our vibes will never link up in the same wavelength, because we're just two different people. You're just oddballs to me. Honestly, smelling piss in a line for one like Seven Dwarfs ride, like if that's the worst thing that happens to you at Disney World, like, consider it a W, because all the pitfalls that you could run into like that's like fucking easy street. Like you should like cross your fingers, thank God, and go about your next day at the Magic Kingdom. Everywhere you turn in Disney, it's like, you got the fuzzy characters, like the creeps like me dressed as the characters. You got the rides, the screaming kids. You have families asking if you could take a photo of them. You go into a gift shop, and the cheapest thing is like a $75 Mickey hoodie. Just go to Myrtle Beach or Myrtle. What's that? Busch Gardens. Go to Busch Gardens. It's like you have all the rides without the fluff of Disney. It's like you get all the business without any of the fucking child woo woo parades. You get the fun. You get the rides. You get the fried dough. You get the 36-ounce Pepsi, and you don't have to deal with Mickey and Tigger and Tigger. What's the one that the hoppy one? You don't have to deal with Daisy and Donald Duck. You do the rides. Disney people, good riddance. Go to the fucking labor camp in Siberia, and I just wish these people didn't exist. I'm not wishing like expulsion of all the Disney people. I just want to ship them somewhere else. Honestly, I'm glad you had to smell the piss. That's what you deserve for not buying a fast pass. You and everybody else can go suck a fat one.